You have exactly 100 milliseconds. That's how long it takes for someone's brain to decide if they trust you or not. And here's the terrifying part. Once that judgment is made, it's almost impossible to change. Right now, you might be destroying people's trust in you without saying a single word. In fact, there are specific body language mistakes that trigger ancient alarm bells in people's brains, making them instantly label you as suspicious, dishonest, or dangerous. What if I told you that a politician's career ended not because of what he said, but because of a split-second facial expression that lasted just 1/25th of a second, or that FBI agents are trained to ignore the very body language tells that most people think expose liars? Today, we're diving into the fascinating science of trust and body language. I've analyzed research from Princeton, FBI behavioral experts, and neuroscientists who literally scanned people's brains while they made trust decisions. And what I found will change how you interact with everyone, from your boss to your barista. But first, let me destroy a myth you've probably heard. You've heard that 93% of communication is body language, right? Well, that's actually not true. That statistic comes from a misinterpreted 1960s study about emotions, not general communication. The real science is far more nuanced and far more powerful. Here's what actually matters. When your words say one thing but your body says another, people's brains literally short-circuit. They'll believe your body over your words every single time, and certain body language mistakes are so powerful they can override everything else about you. Let's start with the mistake that's probably costing you trust right now. Picture this: you're in a job interview, confidently explaining your experience, but you keep glancing down at your hands. In that moment, the interviewer's brain is screaming, "Liar," even though you're telling the truth. Here's the science. Researchers found that when someone maintains direct eye contact, listeners believe 56% of their statements. But when they look away, that drops to just 44%. That's a massive trust penalty for something you might not even realize you're doing. But here's where it gets tricky, and this might surprise you. FBI behavioral expert Joe Navarro says that, contrary to popular belief, liars often make more eye contact, not less. They overcompensate because they know people expect them to look away. So what's the sweet spot? Research shows 60-70% eye contact during conversation. Less than that, you seem evasive. More than that, you seem aggressive or desperate. And here's a pro tip. In Western cultures, break eye contact by looking to the side, not down. Looking down signals submission or shame. We all do it. That polite smile when someone shows you their terrible vacation photos. But here's what you don't know. Your fake smile is betraying you in ways you can't imagine. There's something called a Duchenne smile, a real smile that engages both your mouth and the muscles around your eyes. When you fake smile, only your mouth moves, and people's brains can detect this difference in milliseconds. Psychologist Paul Ekman discovered something even more disturbing. Those micro-expressions, tiny flashes of your real emotions, leak through your fake smile, a 1/25th of a second flash of contempt or disgust. You don't even know it happened, but the other person's subconscious caught it. Here's a real example. A CEO was announcing good news to employees, but for just a fraction of a second, his face showed fear. Stock prices actually dropped after that video went viral because investors subconsciously picked up that something was wrong. Watch any interrogation video and you'll see it. The suspect starts rubbing their neck, playing with their hair, or touching their face. These are called pacifying behaviors, and we inherited them from our primate ancestors. When you're stressed or lying, your brain triggers these self-soothing movements. It's the adult version of a child sucking their thumb. And while these behaviors don't actually mean you're lying, studies prove that people interpret them as deception anyway. The most damaging one, covering your mouth while speaking. Evolution programmed us to hide our mouths when being deceptive, and it triggers an instant distrust response in others. One study found that salespeople who touched their faces during pitches closed 37% fewer deals. Imagine you're saying, "I'm totally open to feedback," while your arms are crossed, your shoulders are hunched, and you're leaning away. Your words are writing checks your body can't cash. This is called incongruence, and it's trust kryptonite. When your verbal and nonverbal messages don't match, people's brains go into high alert. They'll believe your body 100% of the time, but here's what most people don't know. Even your hand positions matter. Researchers found that showing your palms signals honesty, evolutionary sign of no weapons, while hiding your hands in pockets or behind your back triggers suspicion. Politicians are actually trained to use specific palm, showing gestures to appear more trustworthy. Personal space violations might be the fastest way to destroy trust. Anthropologist Edward Hall discovered we all have invisible bubbles around us. Intimate space 0-18 inches, personal space 18 inches 4 feet, and social space 4-12 feet. Violate these zones and you trigger a primal threat response. But here's the twist. These zones vary dramatically by culture. Middle Easterners stand much closer than Americans. A comfortable distance in Cairo would have New Yorkers backing into walls. I once watched a business deal fall apart because an enthusiastic salesperson kept stepping closer to his client, who kept backing away. They literally danced across the entire office, with trust evaporating with every step. Joe Navarro calls feet the most honest part of the body. While you're controlling your face and hands, your feet are telling the truth. When someone's feet point toward the exit during a conversation, they want to leave, even if they're smiling and nodding. Here's a fascinating study. Researchers found that poker players who were bluffing showed it first in their feet, bouncing, tapping, or wrapping them around chair legs. The best poker players started wearing tables that hide feet for exactly this reason. So how do you build instant trust? Science gives us a powerful answer: congruence and mirroring. When every part of your communication aligns, words, tone, face, and body, trust skyrockets. Even more powerful is subtle mirroring. When you naturally match someone's posture and gestures, their brain registers you as same tribe. Studies show this can increase trust by up to 73%, but be subtle obvious copying backfires spectacularly. Remember, you have 100 milliseconds to make that first trust impression, but now you're armed with science. You know the mistakes that trigger those ancient alarm bells. More importantly, you know how to avoid them. Start with one change. Pick your biggest trust. Kill her from this video and consciously work on it for 1 week. Film yourself in conversations if you have to. Because once you master the language your body is speaking, you'll be amazed at how differently people respond to you. What body language mistake surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into the psychology of human behavior, you'll love this video on innocent phrases that secretly control people's minds. Click here to watch it next. Remember, your body is always talking. Make sure it's saying what you want it to say.